Order. Julie, can you call the roll, please?
Kara Caston. Here. Ken Dawson.
Here.
Chris Espinoza.
Here.
Jenny Hagstrom.
Here.
Terry Pavasich.
Here.
Don Renner.
Here.
Jan Hunchie.
Here.
And Nala Mokat.
Here.
Thank you.
We have a quorum. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First item of business tonight is the approval of minutes of the July 17th, 2023 business meeting, the July 17th, 2023 closed meeting, and the August 7th, 2023 workshop meeting with action items. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes, please?
So moved.
Second.
Terry moved, Chris seconds.
Thank you very much. Terry Pavasich.
Aye.
Chris Espinoza.
Aye.
Jenny Hagstrom.
Aye.
Kara Caston.
Aye.
Ken Dawson.
Aye.
And Don Renner.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 4, reception of visitors. Julie, do we have any visitors?
This is for the second reception, for the second reception.
Second reception.
Okay. Hank, I'll turn it over to item number 5, student perspectives.
And I will turn it over to the students. Who wants to go first? Usually flip a coin. Go ahead,
Sure.
Jan.
Hello, board members. I am pleased to be here today to talk about the first day of school. The upperclassmen came in from 8:20 to 11:10 today, allowing for 15-minute periods for a quick introduction to the course and to quickly meet your classmates and receive seating assignments. The day went off without a hitch for me personally, and I had ample time to get a general feel of the class, while the shortened periods allowed for a nice segue from the summer schedule. I was also able to participate in the senior sunrise tradition, which allowed for seniors to see everyone before class and carry on this tradition. After we left at 11:10, the freshmen then came into the school. The Positively North leaders allowed for the freshmen to be able to have upperclassmen to aid them in finding where they need to go around the building. Further, fall activities are now in full swing. I've been in tennis season, and our first football game is on Friday at St. Francis. Our first home game is against Proviso West on September 15th, and it's also our senior night. Our fall activities fair is coming up on the 8th, allowing for students, both new and old, to see what our school has to offer. I will personally be running the Model UN and Debate Club tables, and last year we were able to get so many new members just from this fair. It's a great way for students to find their people with similar interests to them, with clubs ranging from the speech team to the board game club. All in all, our school year had an excellent start, and we are very excited for everything to come this year.
Thank you.
Hi, board members. So today was also our first day of school, and seniors also participated in the senior sunrise this morning, so we woke up at like 4:30 to get there. And it went well. We took lots of pictures. I also participated in that. And then we went all the way till 11:23 too, and everyone seemed excited and ready for the new school year and get to know their teachers and new classmates. And then right after 11:20 was also our freshmen came in, and our Mad Dash leaders and directors got to introduce the freshmen and had them for around like 30 minutes and just to answer any questions they had. And I was a director, so I would go into the classrooms just to see what's going on. They were awkward at some points, but at other points they were answering and asking valuable questions that will help them. And then we also had a lot of leaders around the school helping these freshmen and directing them to classes so they're not lost along the way. And then our first football game is also this Friday, so we're gonna wear our shirts and support the team too. Yeah.
Thank you both. All right, a couple of things for you before we get into the actual reports. Although first day of students was today, staff first days back were last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I feel like I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from our staff that they were productive and that they were well received over the couple of days. So you can see some of our board members hanging out with our mascots. You got to guess who was inside of there. And then after the welcoming message, the first day back, we had awards receptions to recognize years of service, then welcome message from the administration, and then a keynote speaker from Devin Hughes. A lot of our focus this year coming back was just strategies for like adult SEL, for, how can we focus on what is key and important, helping people know the values within the strategic plan and the work that we have for the course of this year, and how they can best help contribute to that work. So that's really what we focused on the opening days, and then a few fun pictures of first day of school from Jill and Lauren here as our students arrived back today. So up and running. All right, along with today, a long awaited day was T99 and the work done there. So Travis and Jim also grabbed some pictures for you, and they're going to walk you through an update over at T99 and I believe some of the other summer stuff, right?
Yeah, yep. So I'll go ahead and start us off. Good evening. It's great to be with you. First off, we are gonna provide some updated T99 pictures. I know that we showed you some pictures last month, or 2 weeks ago actually. And so we'll have some updated information for you, an update on our budget, update on some of our summer capital projects, and then future involvement of future building improvements that are gonna be needed. So if you can go to the next one. So first off, a big thank you. Go ahead. So a big thank you to a lot of internal and external partners. So White and Company did a great job of keeping us updated. It was a great day today to see we were ready, right? And so that was our goal. We talked about that 2 weeks ago, and everything that we talked about came to fruition. So that was really neat. But so White and Company, and then Angus Evans was actually the superintendent of the project, and he did a great job of being on site, of answering questions, of jumping in when things were needed, and he did an excellent job. Other things, the DuPage ROE came. They've been great to work with. Gave us occupancy, which is always that's needed in order for school to happen. And then just there's a ton of subcontractors that were involved with this as well. And I got to tell you, we were there more. I was there more near the end as we were going through, and so as the painter is touching up things and we're moving things around, and I said, "Excuse me," he goes, "No, this is your house," right? And so it was just the respect that they showed, and really the willingness to engage with the staff and that were there. It was just really neat to see. So if you can hit it one more time. So, and thanks internally to our T99 staff. They did a great job. They were anxious and wanted to get in, and we had to tell them not yet, right? So they were able to fully get in on Friday. So it was all hands on deck, and it was just really neat to see everyone come together and work and say, hey, what's needed? You could hear that all the way up and down the hallways. What do we need to do? What does that look like? We had some support staff that came in and worked extra in order to make it happen, so that we were ready to go this morning. And we were still this morning buttoning things up and getting ready. And so when the buses pulled up and kids were dropped off, it was neat to see just everyone working together. So we can go ahead next. So here are some pictures. So we have some for the interior of the existing. You can see on the left there, it shows the flooring that was done. So 2 classrooms, we had to have some plumbing reworked. So the floors had to be pulled up, and they finished those, and we put down new flooring. And then the kitchen, you can see that countertop there, that's brand new. So the existing kitchen got new countertops, and it looks great. Our CMG staff did a phenomenal job of getting that space clean. As you can imagine, it was a construction site, right? And so there were multiple times that they needed to go through and clean, and they did a great job. Next, we have some interior pictures. So we have the picture of the 2 kitchens, the 2 sides of the kitchen, right? So we have the blue and the purple. I know we showed that last time, but this is it put together, right? So things are actually in the drawers and in the cabinets, and they're ready to go. If you click one more time, so that gives you the kind of the view of that with the island there. And it is absolutely gorgeous, right? And so they've done a great job of working through that. Go ahead and click the next one. So this gives the kitchen is over here to the right. Then this grand room here has a lot to offer. It's really cool. That's painted. on that wall, and it gives a great visual there for the students. And then this is a great space for community to occur, right? They can come in, they can do crafts. There's also opportunity for kids to engage and get out of the classrooms and work in that area. Click it one more time. So then the hallway going down. So again, we were over in this area. You're walking down. Close near to the end on the right, this is it's going to be a workout room, but you can see the design, and it's a multi-sensory room that they'll be able to utilize. So we were still moving things in this morning into that room, and we'll get it fully operational. We have a treadmill to put together, and I think a stationary bike or something along those lines that we still need to get put together and get in that space. Click one more time. So this is showing again with a classroom setup. What's really neat. So this is that it's an interactive clear touch is what it's called board, and so we have these in other buildings as well. Our staff went through training. Our tech department did a great job of getting everything set up, got the training set up and going for our staff, and it's just a really neat space. There's all of the furniture you can move it. It's very accessible. Just a great space. You can see the lighting. The windows are awesome. They let in a ton of light, and there's a ton on research on best spaces, and these spaces certainly do elevate the learning of our kids. And then couple more of exterior. I have 3 more slides of exterior pictures. So we were talking 2 weeks ago about wanting to get the Circle Drive done. Circle Drive got done. It's amazing how they installed these. They're quick. They did a great job. So the whole Circle Drive was done. And then if you click one more to the next slide, you can see our signage. So this is on the old existing building, right? And so we put the new siding so it all ties in together. And then that's a new sign, again, for easily to identify the building as you're driving by. And then one more. So you can see that the space in the front is just a great for students to come for the beginning of the day and the end of the day. And we actually got, as a bus was pulling up this morning, and students were arriving, it was just neat to see our T99 staff were lined up down that hallway. Mm-hmm. And as kids came in, to see the relationships and them happily greeting each other and talking, and it was a really neat day to see all of that occur. So I'm going to hand it over to, now that I got to have fun talking about all the pretty pictures and everything that we've done up to that point, Jim's going to take it from here and talk about the budget and some future items.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, we're this far into it and we're still under budget, and that is great news. We were concerned right from the start that we had a number and we couldn't go over it. So proud to say that we are concluding. There's no really unforeseen thing that would come up that would be astronomical charge. We do have some contingency funds left. We'll be using that towards some furniture, fixtures, and equipment as needed. As we put everything into the spaces, things will pop up and we'll order those. So all in all, it was a great project, and even with some overtime this past weekend, we're still in pretty good shape with some funds left.
Good.
Upcoming future events for the building improvements that we just had. Ribbon cutting. Open house slated for October 23rd, 2023. More to come on that for details. Also, the renovation of T99 programs we featured in the November issue of Downers Grove magazine. It's coming up. So I thought I'd give you just a quick recap of the summer capital projects that we had. A couple of these are still going on. At North, the softball field upgrades currently going on, got a couple weeks left. So that's continuing. It started late. It won't impact PE and or sports, so that's good news. The roof, 2 replacements are done. The pool scoreboard started today, and I know that I said at a previous board meeting they'd be done by today, but we're a couple of weeks out, so North will get theirs installed this week, South will get theirs installed next week. At South, the music suite flooring and chairs, they're in, done, completed. Student parking lot completed, and obviously the scoreboard for next week. Life safety, this is phase 1 at North of life safety, galvanized pipe replacement, about $600,000 worth of work. Next summer is about 2.2 million. So the big ones next year, somewhat well, it's completed at North. All of these projects came in under budget, so another good news to report to you tonight. Travis said he had all the good pictures, and he gives me this, you know.
Oh,
What is that? I call it the Titanic at the bottom of the Atlantic.
yeah.
Actually, it's the roof at T99, the existing building. So this was on schedule to be done for next summer in Capitol. But with the rains and the weather that we've had these past few months, we got some leaks, we had to do some repairs, and we're seriously thinking about being aggressive and getting this done prior to next summer. So we have to be creative in how we fund it. So we're looking into that. We're going to get back to you, but as you can see, we need some repairs, and it's a complete tear off. It's about 10,000 square feet. So not looking the greatest, but we're holding on.
Not a cheap business either.
No, it's not.
So thanks for your ongoing support. A lot of great things have happened this summer for our building and grounds and getting everything up to speed and projects, as you heard Jim say. That's a lot of hard work that goes into when things come in under budget and a lot of dialogue with our contractors. So great job with everyone that's been involved with that, and just thanks for your ongoing support. Any questions on anything that we covered?
How have teachers and staff responded to the updates at T99?
It was neat to see. I got to be there when they first walked in, right, and just the awe, the joy of seeing that space, and even in the existing, when again upon coming in and seeing some of the things that have been done there, just really happy with the progress. They would have liked to have been in a day earlier, right? But I'm telling you, we said, we just need to stay out of their way, and we'll get you in, and it'll be great, and they did, and it was because they were in the existing building on Thursday, and we just said, you just can't go over to the new side, and they adhered to that, so it was great. Yeah, really good response.
I want to congratulate both of you and your teams for your fantastic work. For the T99 project and the summer capital improvement projects, all to be completed under budget is fantastic. And you really need to be complimented for that. And I think the whole Downers Grove community can be proud of that. That is a fantastic accomplishment. So thank you.
Yeah. A lot of people's efforts with that, right? And it's really neat to see when the projects come together, right? All of our CMG, custodial and maintenance group, right? Our tech, they all, as you know, when a project happens, those two are more integrated now than they have ever been. And everyone's working really well together and having conversations and planning and doing that. And Jim and Kristen have done a great job of making sure, hey, we're staying on track. Me and Kristen has spreadsheets all over the place of all the things you think about. We fully had a kitchen, right? All of the appliances, all of the silverware, all of the utensils, everything that was all ordered, documented, everything, right? And so she has a spreadsheet. She knows where it came from, who ordered it, when it came in, who said that it came in, all of that stuff. So a lot of that detail work is really important. And
Definitely.
both Jim and Kristen have done a great job with that.
I would just say T99 is a special place. The work that goes on there is fantastic. The fact that we're committing these kind of resources to this program and the facilities, I think, demonstrates to the community what kind of priority that we place on this program, and I think it's really important to reflect on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you, Jim and Travis.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, a couple of just procedural items that happen every year at this time of year by board policy and state law. We have a couple of teams that come in front of the board just for your review and your approval. The first is the concussion oversight team. This was provided to the board in advance, but we identify a team of the athletic directors, associate principals, nurses, athletic trainers, and outside doctor consultants. Scott works closely with this team to make sure that we're following all of our procedures, and this team is up for approval this evening. Any questions on this one?
No.
Similarly, we have a crisis de-escalation and physical management oversight team. This team is also headed up by Scott. He gets the best teams. And is primarily associated with special education with this, but you can see the team that's there that has oversight over this. Any questions on this item? This is also up for action later on this evening.
No, both are important teams, and we need them.
Yep.
Is it typically the same team that each year, or is there changes to the team?
For the most part, it's the same team.
Most of the
Yeah,
same team?
yeah.
All right.
I got a
and then-
quick question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
The concussion oversight team,
Yes.
are they on site at all of the football games, soccer games? Where are they?
Some of the members are on site, especially the athletic trainers. We can't possibly be on site at everything, especially some of our underlevel events that are off-site. In those cases, if a coach ever has a concern, we just call 911 at that point.
And are the doctors at events, like football games, or are they just strictly consultants?
They're at some of the events, but mostly, I believe, are
Mostly consultant.
mostly consultant, yeah.
And this is concussion, but what about oversight just for general emergency? We have so many competitive top athletes at both of our high schools competing in a variety of sports. Take cross country, for example. If they cross the finish line and give in all they can and fall out, who's there to help? Is that type of thing, maybe on the soccer field, two people are going up to head a ball and have a concussion. On all the sports, not just football.
Yeah, if that's on site, then we have our athletic training team on site. Like I said, if it's a practice or something and somebody isn't here because there's, isn't somebody, then we would call 911 in those cases. But most of the time, our trainers are here and they have radios, and administrators are here as well. So we respond to wherever that was on site at that point.
And the EMTs are on, like football games.
Yeah, for like football games, yeah.
Some of the big events where there's a lot of people too, in case someone in the crowd needs
Yeah, if we have
attention.
large crowds, like graduation or football games, we'll have emergency personnel on site.
Yeah, so there are.
Okay, great.
All right, any other questions on these two items?
No.
All right, Gina has grant allocations. These come up every year at this time as well.
So I'll just highlight a couple of things. Title I, you can see a substantial increase from our initial allocation last year. It turned out our initial allocation was almost half of what it usually is, but we did get a second allocation. So actually last year we ended up with $312,000, but still $446,000 for an initial allocation is incredible. Just a reminder to the board that only South High School is a Title I school. So funds for Title I need to be spent for South High School. Also wanted to point out that last year, not when I brought this to the board, because we don't find out usually until November, December, we were able to get the immigrant education grant. and that's at $11,600. We don't always get that grant, and that's really exciting when we do. So I was very happy about that. I'm hoping that we will get it again, but again, won't know until later in the school year. You'll also notice that CTEI, those funds are for career and technical education. We have been held harmless at the 96,236. We are expecting an additional allocation this year. So we're hopeful in our CT funds. We also saw an increase last year of $10,000 to our Title IV funds. Title IV funds are used to provide enrichment to students. We use it for a variety of things, including our Seal of Biliteracy testing, our AVID program at North High School pays the membership fees and some professional development, and we use it for some other supplies, particularly for our biomedical classes, and we're very excited to get additional funds this coming year as well. So just a quick summary. Do you have any questions?
Why the significant jump in Title I?
That is a great question.
I'm sorry.
Last
what-
year, when we had the initial 191,000 on our initial allocation, I was contacting people and double-checking lists to make sure that I didn't misread, because we usually get about $300,000 to $400,000 on our initial. One year, we did end with about $400,000. But this year, there's a formula that they use, and most of my colleagues are also seeing an increase. So it's a combination of census data and our free reduced lunch numbers.
Okay.
But we're quite pleased.
And could you remind us once again why only Downer South is eligible for Title I?
So the state decides which schools are eligible, and our free reduced lunch numbers at North are substantially lower than they are at South High School. And that's the reason it's South High.
Okay.
It's Title I funds.
All right, any other questions for Gina?
No.
All right. This is an action item to accept these this evening. All right, recognizing Certificate in Excellence in Financial Reporting. We have received this, oh boy, every year since I think 1999. So it's a long-standing testament to the work that our finance department does. This was, Jeree has been involved in this for several years. This was the last year of Mark's work on it. But we received this, and I meant to put up the picture of Jeree pinning it on there. If you go outside, there's a plaque out there that has our little pin on it. So, but thank you to Jeree for her longstanding work in this, and just a testament to the work that our team does here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And now I'll turn it over to Jeree for the fun in the year-end financial report.
Okay, well, first I'd like to introduce Tammy, who's a new member of our team. She joined in July.
Hi, Tammy.
Okay, well, I have just a few financial highlights for last fiscal year. We ended the year with a solid operating fund balance there of a little over $7 million. This equals, as you can see, a little over 7% of our revenues. The reason why that percentage is important is because we have a board policy that states we need to keep our operating fund balances at 3% or higher. Any questions on just this overall fund balance page?
Jeree, for the benefit of the board members, can you explain when you show a negative number in the educational fund or O&M fund, what that truly means and the difference between cash accounting versus fund accounting?
Okay, sure. This is based upon modified accrual accounting basis, which means that we defer our property taxes that we receive in June until the next year. So we have much more cash on hand at June 30th, but we operate with just the revenues that we count for that year, if that makes sense. And then as far as having a negative, like the operations and maintenance fund balance is slightly negative, that just means that our revenues we started the year with a negative balance on that. And as we saw last year, like in November, when we were starting on the work on the levy, we saw that fund balance looked like it would continue being negative. And so we put more levy into that fund for this coming year. And so you'll see with the budget that now we anticipate that fund balance will be higher than what it is now. So there's still plenty of cash in that fund. It's just that we're deferring all the tax revenues until like July.
And then the negative in the working cash, that's $14.99.
That's right. It's not a negative balance, but we did transfer the funds to pay for T99, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Any other questions on that one?
Sorry, Jerry.
Is working cash a potential source of funds for what Jim was referring to as far as how we're potentially going to fund the roof replacement?
Oh, well, yes, but we also have some other ideas.
Okay.
More to come.
Yes.
Yes.
We're waiting in anticipation for that.
Yeah. Who knew finance was so much fun?
Yeah.
Finance is really fun.
I know.
Okay, so for our revenues, you'll see that the third line down, interest, it came in quite a bit higher than what we had anticipated due to the higher rates. And so that was a nice benefit for us because we had some expenses that came in a little bit higher than what we had anticipated. So it helped offset those expenses. We also continued to receive federal ESSER funds this past year. Those totaled about $500,000. Next year, we expect just to receive about $200,000 in ESSER funds. That will be the last of our allocation. Then the other area of revenues to take a look at would be the state aid. So the revenue in that line item came in a little bit higher than what we had projected, and it was basically due to the reimbursement that we received from the state for our transportation costs. Those costs are from the prior year.
Wow.
Do you have any questions on the revenues?
A question on the food, why does that keep going up? Is that inflation? What is the?
Our students are buying more.
So, well, actually, we switched over to a different program a couple of years ago, and so our food service management company pays us kind of like a fee, kind of a commission at the end of the year, and it's related to the sales. And so the more sales, the more revenue that we receive from them. And we're actually planning to use the revenue over the next 2 years from food services to fund the upgrades at South for their servery.
Well, it also says that we're supplying things that our students and faculty want to eat. So that's a really good thing.
All right, any other questions on revenues?
Okay, a few highlights on our expenses. So overall, our salaries and benefits came in very close to our projections. That's about 80% of our budget, and a good portion of those salaries and benefits are tied to collective bargaining agreements, so we have a pretty good idea of what those will be. For the remaining expenses, all came in pretty much as we had projected, except for the cost of transportation services. Those were about $500,000 higher than what we had originally projected. So overall, the revenues and expenditures came in very close to what we had originally projected last year. And as Travis mentioned, it takes a team to be able to come in this close to budget. It's a lot of people working to make this happen.
All right, questions on expenditures? All right. So that's where we ended up last year. Now, Tree will forecast where we're going this next year.
Okay, so I'll just mention a few of the highlights like I did for the year-end report. So we are projecting, as you can see, that our operating revenues and expenditures are pretty closely matched. And then you'll see the transfer line item that we have there. With that, then our expenses are a little bit higher than our revenues. That transfer is a transaction that we make every year. The amount varies from year to year, and it's just to make our lease payments. And the lease payments are for our tech devices. So as you can see, we project that we're going to end the year with the operating fund balance of just under 7%, so we're still right where we'd like to be. As you can see, though, the education fund, we're projecting a slight, deficit, ending fund balance. But again, that's not cash. That's just overall ending fund balance. And it's so early in the year, I mean, that could change just like it did last year, too. Any questions on the fund balance page?
All right, revenues?
Okay. Well, you'll see on the replacement tax line item that we're projecting a much lower amount for this coming year. The state has informed us that the replacement taxes should come in probably about 25% lower than what they were last year. This is an area that it fluctuates from year to year. Who knows, maybe partway into the year we'll be surprised and it will go back up. But we're just going with the projection of the state for right now. We do expect to see an increase in state aid. That's, for the most part, tied to transportation costs. As I'd mentioned in the previous report, our transportation costs last year were higher than what we expected. Those costs have been turned over to the state, and so therefore we anticipate that our reimbursement will go up this year. And on the federal aid, as you see, there's a significant decrease there. That's partly due to ESSER funding. It's also due to some other federal aid that we've received. As Gina's mentioned, sometimes, though, we find out 2 or 3 months into the year and there's additional federal funding. But right now, we're just projecting the low amount.
Does that include the grants that we talked about earlier?
Yes.
So even with the increases in the grants, you're still projecting that kind of reduction?
Right. Last year, we had additional IDA funding that we don't anticipate to receive next year. So there's a number of federal sources that we receive funding from, and they do fluctuate from year to year.
The transportation cost, is that the vehicles and repairs and parts?
It's for our busing.
With the vehicles or the?
No, we pay per student, so we contract out for services.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Any other questions on the revenues?
All right, so the overall big takeaway is trees.
Expenses?
Oh, we didn't do expenditures.
What the heck, right?
Focus on that.
Let's not spend any
I was
money.
going to just take it home, but I missed half of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, once again, our salaries and benefits are it's 80% of our budget. And we, anticipate that these will stay right within our revenue stream. As you will see, there's a projected increase in purchase services and tuition by a significant amount. And both of those are related to, for the most part, special services costs.
That's tuition when we pay for one of our students to go attend a different school?
Yes. Mhm. And we project a increase in the number of students that will be attending outplaced facilities this next year.
Remember, that's very individual and specific. You know, a single student with higher needs could swing that number drastically from year to year. Whether it's somebody's coming with greater needs or greater outplacement needs could cause that to go higher. Or if a student leaves us and that comes back, it could change drastically. Or sometimes mid-year, we have a student's needs change or get adapted, and we could have a swing mid-year, one way or another. So that's one of our most volatile lines year to year.
So the only other line item I would like to point out is the capital outlay. It looks kind of odd to see a decrease there. One reason for the decrease is we had a one-time real estate purchase last year for the expansion at T99. And then the other reason there's a decrease is because some of our projects started, it all has to do with timing. Some of the projects started in the spring, and we paid for some of those projects before June 30th. So we had the expenses in last year's budget, thus reducing this year's budget. So that's the tentative budget for next year. We don't anticipate any large changes between now and September, but we might find out some more information from the state, and we would make those small changes at that time.
So now I'll bring it home.
Sure.
So Jerry's presented a realistic conservative budget that's balanced in expenses and expenditures and revenues. As she said, they'll continue to look at this for the next week. It's already on public display on our website. Board members can provide any feedback over the next month as well. And then we will bring the final budget for approval next month at our board meeting. There'll be an opportunity for public comment before we ask the board for final approval. I miss anything?
Nope.
All right, I got it.
I would just say that, it's extremely important that last year's board, when they adopted the 2022 levying up to the statutory maximum under PTEL, is allowing us to meet our accelerating expenditures. So I would caution the Board of Education that as we get to next year's levy and we're continuing to be in this inflationary environment, we have to take that into consideration when we look at our levies. So it's really important.
Yeah, our maximum levy amount, although 5% is higher than we typically are at, it's still lower than what CPI and inflation was. All right. See, we can have fun with finances.
Oh, I'll have fun all the time.
All right, freedom of information requests. We received them as we typically do. We responded to them as we always do, and they are listed on our website.
Okay, item number 7, the consent agenda.
There is, before you open up, one corrected document in your board packet under the finance report. It's just a labeling item on one of the summary pages. So the numbers haven't changed, just a description changed. So bottom line, we're the same. We just want to make sure that we labeled one of the line items correctly.
Thank you, Dr. Thiele. Before the board votes on the consent agenda, is there any agenda item a board member would like to pull out of the consent agenda for further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion for the Board of Education to approve the consent agenda as presented, which includes A, personnel report, appointments certified, appointments classified, transfer of position classified, B, June treasurer's report and July financial pages, C, 2023-24 concussion oversight team, And D, 2023-24 Crisis De-escalation and Physical Management Oversight Team.
So moved.
Second.
Terry first, Chris second.
Thank you. Terry Pavasich.
Aye.
Chris Espinoza.
Aye.
Jenny Hagstrom.
Aye.
Kara Caston.
Aye.
Ken Dawson.
Aye.
And Don Renner.
Aye, motion carries. Item 8, is this for you, Dr. Fiore, or
No, these are action items.
action items? Okay. So, item number 8, I'm going to need a motion for the Board of Education to approve the 2023-24 grant allocations as presented.
So moved. Second.
Terry and Jen.
Terry first, Jenny second.
Thank you. Terry Pavasich.
Aye.
Jenny Hagstrom.
Aye.
Kara Caston.
Aye.
Ken Dawson.
Aye.
Chris Espinoza.
Aye.
And Don Renner.
Aye, motion carries. And the second item of action, B, I need a motion for the Board of Education to accept the tentative budget for the 2023-24 fiscal year and establish 6:30 PM, September 18th, 2023, for the public hearing to be held at the Administrative Service Center, 6301 Springside Avenue in Downers Grove, Illinois.
So moved.
Second.
Chris first, Ken second.
Thank you. Chris Espinoza.
Aye.
Ken Dawson.
Aye.
Jenny Hagstrom.
Aye.
Terry Pavasich.
Aye.
Kara Caston.
Aye.
And Don Renner.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 9, old business.
No old business.
Okay. And item number 10, any new business?
No new business.
Item number 11, reception of visitors.
All right, inviting Yvette Kirby.
Would you like me
Up to the
to
microphone?
read the instructions first?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
sorry. You can come on up, but he's
Yeah,
got
just-
to read the instructions.
This is
Sorry,
the-
Yvette.
This is the second reception of visitors, which is intended for audience members to address the board on any topic pertaining to Community High School District 99. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes to provide all visitors an equal opportunity to address the board. Individuals needing more time should submit their thoughts in writing to the board's secretary. Visitors addressing the board need to submit a comment slip to the board's secretary and will be invited to the microphone. Prior to addressing the board, audience members should state their full name. The proceedings may be tape recorded for the purpose of producing accurate meeting minutes. The board's presiding officer reserves the right to modify these protocols if circumstances warrant. Audience observation of these protocols is appreciated. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Okay, I'll try to make it as quick as possible. Hi, my name is Yvette Kirby, and I've been an educator for 28 years in the same school district. I have also had 3 female student athletes attend DGN since 2015, when we moved here from the northwest side of the city. Our third daughter, Kirsten Kirby, is 16, a current junior, a straight-A student with no discipline issues ever. She has played club volleyball since she was 10 for the same volleyball club, New Wave, here in Darien. This summer, Kirsten was asked by Coach Wasik to play in his summer league. And she was first invited to play in the JV league for her first game. Then for the next game, she was invited to play for his varsity league. She also attended all 3 summer volleyball camps following COVID, which was really, really hard on her as she is a very social student. She has done everything that he has asked of his players. She played club volleyball, she attended various volleyball camps, and played exceptionally well at nationals in Florida, having 20 aces in 1 set. She played his summer league, but then was cut with several other girls, rather than placing them on the JV team that he clearly has in place on the school website and in the current yearbook, which I brought. I spoke with an IHSA administrator about the Title IX violation that I have observed occurring the past 2 years. He in fact agreed the DGN is in clear violation. I called Ms. Kavanaugh on August 9th to discuss this with her and to invite Ms. DeMint as well in a meeting. She returned my call. We chatted for nearly an hour. She repeatedly told me I needed to follow the proper chain of command, which I believed I was in fact doing by calling the athletic director's office to meet in person. She then told me to put my Title IX concerns in writing, which I did in an email. And she told me that they would be forwarded to the building level and then onto the district level if necessary. I've never heard back from either of the 2 offices, and it's now August 21st. Ms. Kavanaugh then attempted to help me understand by sending me incorrect links to sexual harassment rather than Title IX. links that she had stated in her email. I believe she was purposely leading me astray with Title IX by stating sports are equal but not affording the opportunities to the 730 females compared to the 770 males in the district that she sent me in her email. My daughter Kirsten has played on the sophomore team last year, but also played with her entire sophomore team for JV games. They were in fact playing on a team specifically meant for juniors that cannot make varsity team and are not allowed to play down on the sophomore level. Again, this would be lying to the community. It appears on the website and in the yearbook that we have a JV team, when we in fact do not. We use our sophomore level team to play at the JV level. These are taxpayer dollars. Are they being correctly allocated? Are the coaches being paid for levels
Thank you, Ms.
that don't
Kirby.
exist?
Your time has expired. Feel free to reach out with me and we can follow up.
Thank you.
on
I'll
that.
add the last paragraph
Thank
in
you.
an email. I appreciate it.
We have no other reception of visitor slips.
Okay, item number 12, report on land activities. Jenny?
No activity yet. Our first meeting will be at the end of September.
Okay, Dr. Thiele, report on SACIT.
Yeah, I was not at their meeting last week because it was at the same time as our opening day. A couple of things, enrollment is down a little bit right now, but that is typical at the start of the school year, and then they add numbers as time goes on. They're looking at their staffing patterns to make sure they're appropriate. And then the biggest thing is that they're beginning their work on their executive director search.
Okay. Terry, a report on the Education Foundation.
Yeah, our meeting is Wednesday, so I really don't have anything except us meeting now at South High. We need to make sure that either the door is unlocked or that someone knows we're coming.
Yep, there was a mix-up in the summer staff.
It was not
Yep.
communicated. We waited a half an hour outside to get in.
Yeah, I
So-
apologize to the foundation for that mix-up. We're
I know, I'm just,
back up
I'm-
and running here during the school year. I don't anticipate that will happen again.
Well, and, the room needs to be available for us too. Sorry, but.
We're sorry.
I'm just throwing it out there. So.
Ken, a report on the IASB.
Nothing specifically. Gearing up for the annual conference in November. The list of speakers is out there. There's some really great workshops. When you have a chance, take a look, and looking forward to it. And networking with board members from around the state. It should be a very excellent networking opportunity.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay, item 13, upcoming board meetings. Next board meeting will be September 11th, 2023, here at the ASC for a workshop at 6:30, followed by September 18th, the
That's
regular
my
business
birthday.
meeting, again, here at the ASC at 6:30 p.m.
I'll have to
I'll
bring a
remind
cake.
board members that's the unusual back-to-back weeks with board meetings
Labor Day.
because of Labor Day. Yeah. We have no closed session. We're canceling it. Don and I decided we're good.
Oh, we're canceling
Yeah,
it?
you get to cancel it. I know you're disappointed.
Oh, we're weeping over here on this side of the
All we
table.
have left is adjournment.
So I just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Terry first, Chris second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Adjourned. Thank you, everybody,
good
for your
night.
service. We're off and running.